How's everyone's bye week going? I know it's kind of weird to have a fall week without the Dolphins playing, but we're gonna get through this together, y'all. And I'm going to try to handle some bye week business in the meantime, between time, before we get back to what we do best or what we need to do to handle business. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all fans of relations, I am Beast Mike, front row passenger on the Tua train, and it's been a weird season, right? From the disastrous starts in Indy and New England, more on them in a sec, and Buffalo, which was not great. Lots of mistakes were made, and cannot do that. And it felt like even when we won, we lost, because we lose Tyreek Hill, and he may lose him for good as a Dolphin, which is rather unfortunate if that were to be the case. And then painful losses to Carolina and the Chargers, where a defensive stop and we win those games, and this season looks entirely different by comparison. And then the last month happens, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, where did that Atlanta game come from? And then, okay, sure, we lose to the Ravens, but then Chris Greer gets fired, and that feels like a win for a lot of the fan base. And then the last 2 weeks, where Buffalo gets bludgeoned and pummeled into the ground, and seeing their Bills fans spiral out of control is very hilarious. I personally enjoy that. Props to the Texans for having the wings on standby after the game. Josh Allen might have got sacked again during this video. It was hilarious. Well done by Houston. I salute y'all for that. And then obviously what happened over in Madrid last week, though it was not pretty, it was not entertaining in some instances, but it was a win, and we take those. Again, ugly wins better than pretty losses. We take those. We move. We've won 3 out of 4 now, and we're 4-7. Oh, how different the season would look if we had beaten the Panthers and the Chargers, but I digress. We move, and we're back, obviously, on to other business, which includes, for me, following through on a promise and following through on a challenge that I issued last year. Some of y'all may remember that I donated $19.72 to the Bills Foundation, and I did so because Buffalo was the team that beat the last undefeated team that season. Last year was obviously their game against the Chiefs. And it's coming full circle, ironically, because Buffalo was the last undefeated team left this season. And they lost to the Patriots on that whiteout night in Buffalo where they debuted their rivalries jerseys. It's kind of weird that maybe that was a passing of the torch of the AFC East back to the evil people in New England. But I will say this for New England. They do some good things, at least off the field. At least there's that. And this leads me to my challenge for all of you this time. The Patriots beat the last undefeated team this year, and sticking to my theme, I just donated the same amount, $19.72, for obvious reasons, and to the Patriots Toy Drive and their foundation. A good way to try to spread some cheer up in the New England states for the holiday season and holiday rush that's coming. So I challenge all of you, and I will send the link in the video below for everyone to follow and to donate whatever you can and try to pay it forward and do some good for the holiday season. And with that, I'm going to raise a glass, or again, raise a cup, if you will, to the 72 team for once again, your season will be unmatched, unchallenged, and you remain perfect. Probably needed some fluid after all the talking I just did. But anyway, hopefully everyone can donate to the Patriots Foundation. They were the last team to beat it undefeated. So appreciate you, New England, for doing something good for once. Again, I salute you for that. And for the Bills fans continuing to crash out, because that's always a good thing. We'll be back on the Tua train leading up to the Saints game later this week. And ideally, my fantasy team continues to cook without Tua, Waddle, and Achane in the lineup. We are 9-2. Beautiful thing. On to the Saints and on to the Tua train, and that being the next stop. All aboard. Whoop, whoop. Fins up.